Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I am so excited about today's show because we got one of the most talented individuals probably on this planet. You know, that's going to be our guest, and he's going to make us laugh. He's going to educate us. He's going to do a whole lot of things. We're talking none other than Troy Rawlings. And this man right here, he's a host, radio host, TV host, comedian, actor, speaker, author, and you can add about another 14 or 15 adjectives to that. but so we so excited to have this young man. I call him young man on the show, and I am interested in finding out what he means by what is taboo in love, the taboos of sex, love, and relationships. You know, so I'm looking forward to this conversation. If you want to be part of it, you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is Facebook, StreamYard, YouTube, E360 TV, wherever you watching this show at. Let's go to the comments portion of it and just ask this young man any questions. I make sure, any questions, almost any questions that you want to, and we gonna bring him. He gonna answer them for you. But I tell you, I gotta bring in my absolutely fantastic co-host Michelle Cooley. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. My absolutely fabulous host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, doing good, doing good.
Michelle, I'm excited. I'm just tickled pink already, and he haven't told one joke yet. And,
Oh,
I-
it's
and
coming.
I'm over here.
It's coming.
Yeah. But I want to get this started, Michelle. So can you please tell our listeners and viewers the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and let's get this thing started.
Oh, most definitely. So, the title of the show is What's Taboo in Love? The Taboos of Sex, Love, and Relationships. And the purpose is getting to know host, comedian, actor, speaker, and author Troy Rawlings. Discuss how did he become known as the relationship guru of comedy, and talk about today's society. Is it too hypersexual or too reserved in your opinion, and what happens at one of his tour events, and just discuss and learn about how the people in the public can come see his shows. Let's tell a little bit about our guest today. So Troy Rawlings, right? Troy Rawlings, he's a self-proclaimed entertainment brat. He's a host, comedian, actor, speaker, and author, and is much more than a triple threat. His comedy and hosting style brings his amazing writing, improvisational, and production skills to the masses every time he steps on a stage or in a TV or radio studio. This is Troy's motivation. Born Troy Lance Rawlings in Baltimore, Maryland, Troy was a comedian from the crib. By the age of 3, Troy was impersonating his favorite singers and comedians like Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Bob Hope, John Ritter, and many more. By age 5, Troy was breakdancing, rapping, singing, and playing instruments. He began his radio career in 2000, becoming a radio personality with Clear Channel in the Baltimore market. A successful 2-year run on a breakout show helped Troy start his own entertainment marketing and promotion company. He began producing comedy shows and music concerts throughout the Baltimore, D.C. area. Now it has come to full circle. Troy now resides in Los Angeles, California, and is the father of a beautiful daughter named Zoe. He continues to do comedy, forums, and speaking engagements around the globe, and is a published author of several books. In 2016, he launched his radio morning live 5 days a week from Los Angeles. It's like Ellen meets Dr. Ruth and Tom Joyner with some Bugs Bunny or something. The Troy Rawlings Morning Show podcast can be found on the LA Radio Now YouTube channel and other platforms. Outside of his live show productions, he produced his first TV pilot for NBC called The Troy Rawlings Show and has become a producer on the documentary movie Where Have All the Fathers Gone? He's currently touring with his Taboo Talk comedy tour and The Love Shows, contributing journalist with Sheen Magazine. The James Cooley Show at Your Life welcomes Troy Rawlings.
Welcome to the show, Troy. How
I
you
love.
doing, Doc?
I need to see. I'm single. I need to get me a wife. because the way she read everything was perfect. I mean, I was like, who is this guy?
Man,
No, no, I
she's
appreciate
pretty
you guys.
good, my friend. I mean, she's very good at this. Troy, man, I'm excited, and I'm gonna have to get some of the impersonation from you. But we'll get some of those later on down the line. But can you tell our viewers and our listeners, where you grew up and who were your role models that shape you into the person that you are today?
Oh, man. Well, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland originally, and I man, we talk about role models. First off, my parents. Neither one of them. My mom and pop passed away. Pop in 2010, mom in 2020, but they were amazing while they were there. Everybody, a lot of times you hear about people saying like tears of a clown, or most comedians, we get a lot of our material from hardships. And I had some hardships, but it's just like when you hear a lot of people say it, you don't know a lot of the stuff you're going through is dysfunctional or it shouldn't be like that. My parents did a great job while they were there. And as more I become an adult, the more I realize they did great with what they had. So my community was amazing. My friends, their parents, the adults in my community coming up in Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore County and Canfield, Loch Hearn area. My aunt Joyce was like my second mom. So, and just coming up, born in the 70s, coming up in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, you talking about material. just our lives were pretty amazing. We had a ball. It was a lot of fun. I talked to my daughter now. My daughter's 10. And I'm like, man, y'all just can't, like, I can't just open the door and say, yeah, be back here when it's dark. Boom. And mind you, we're thinking we having all the fun. You're older cat, because we think we have all the fun in the world. The world was our orchard. We had all the ball. It was really fun being an adult and knowing that your kid. That's why they always looked at us like we was crazy when we came back in half a day. We was like, why are you here? Didn't I say come back when it's dark? You're like, why are you in the house so early? What's wrong? Because that peace of mind. Now you get it when they go to school, but you're not just, letting my 10-year-old daughter walk down the street or ride a bike. It's a different day and age. I don't know if it's more dangerous, but it's definitely more polarized with film and TV and phone and tablet, and everything is like hypersensitive. I think that's why I hit on that with hypersexuality. I think everything is just, we're overstimulated. But when it comes to comedic influences, a lot of people may be surprised because I always mention like Jerry Lewis and John Ritter. His comedy, like Three's Company, for me was like watching Bugs Bunny. John Ritter with the improv, the acting, and then I got it. He was like, he's a chef, but he's trying to act gay so he can live with these women, but he likes women. And it was like, yeah, that's what I want. I want to be Jack Tripper, baby. Jack Tripper is the man. He can live with two women and date other women. It's crazy. They trying to hustle to pay rent. I get it. So it, and then it was like Johnny Carson, Merv Griffin, Arsenio Hall. It was the host. And until I became a host of doing live shows, I didn't realize these guys had writers. I just knew every night they had different material. I just knew every night they were just hitting. And I love the improv. I love Soupy Sales, Abbott Costello, Lauren Hardy, oh my goodness, Peter Sellers, watching the Pink Panther. Oh, I'd be in tears. Mel Brooks movies. So, and people say, what about any? Yes, I was 11 or 12 when I went to see Raw in the movie theater during the day. Me and my friend paid our money and they let us in. We was like, they let us in. And when I saw Eddie Murphy on stage and looked like he was talking, he looked like a walking therapy. It didn't seem like comedy. I understood what he was saying, even though it was raw. It was like what he was saying about sex and life and stuff. It didn't seem that raw because of what we were going through coming up. A lot of stuff was open to us as kids. We try to shadow kids from a lot of shade and protect kids from a lot of stuff now, but a lot of stuff was open to us as kids back then. Too much stuff.
Wow, funny you mentioned that because you mentioned about your daughter. Now, back in the day, we did not have fools out there just grabbing kids and just doing crazy stuff. But we had to be very careful. And I
And the
remember,
neighborhood wouldn't let it happen. If Mr. Charlie saw a kid get snatched, he going to get his gun, his bat. Yeah, I chased him down for 5 blocks. He trying to take one of our kids and lost his mind. Did y'all see that? Yeah, I saw it too. I kicked him when he fell out. The whole neighborhood, just like they would beat you behind if you was doing something wrong. Did you hit
uh-huh.
that girl up the street? I heard. Get your behind in the house.
Oh yeah, your neighbor would tell on you and tell your parents. I mean, it was a
Walk
different
you to the
time back
house.
then. Huh?
Walk you to your front door.
I know.
Uh,
It was a different time back then. Things are not the same. So I totally get it.
yeah, yeah. Now you defending your child before you find out what happened, and you're like, no, they ain't do nothing like that. You know they did stuff. They watching it at home. They doing it. They cussing you out. You know they cussed everybody out. They cuss you out at home. I
You
can't
know,
believe you did that. Well, what
you
did you
know,
say to him? Sit down in your seat and let's get ready for class. That's what I said.
and not just that, Troy, but this probably date me a little bit. But if
Mhm.
you, as a kid, got in trouble, they make you go out and get uh, your own whip or your own switches.
Yeah, switch.
And if you brought anything in less than a tree,
Go back out.
go.
We're gonna save this. Go back out and get.
Hey man, when did you realize that you wanted to entertain and that you had that it? That it. A lot of times a comedian, not I was a comedian for a while. It takes a while to figure out that it.
Um, I think that's a. I won't say it's a lifelong process because I know my niche now because helping men and women communicate better in love. I realized that was my niche in the midst of doing it. So anybody out there that's watching, like, how did you know? You have to be in the midst of doing it. If you want to be a comedian or you want to see how it is, get on a stage, get on an open mic stage, work stages. I worked a lot of people say, "Oh, where are you gonna be performing this and that?" And I try to do bigger shows and stuff now. But for years, anytime there was a mic open somewhere, I was trying to get there. It's a stage. I can work on some stuff. I can work on my craft. I can do it. I was doing it all the time. A bunch of free shows, a bunch of stuff. I still host stuff sometimes for free. It's like free or charge your fee, So I host things sometimes just to be in front of people and to work on my craft. I'm a bit different. I like to do a lot of stuff in front of people. But when you're a kid, it's just the class clown. It's the first time you get a group of people to laugh at the same time and the timing is perfect and everybody's laughing and you're laughing, or I do something, the whole class is laughing and the teacher is laughing. And that's when it was like, okay, it was like, all right, y'all. The teacher's like, settle down, let's get back to it. And you see everybody get back to it. And you're like, yeah, like I said, and like, Troy, it was funny the first time. Like, oh, okay. It's like, because all of a sudden you realize, wow, that was like, to get a group of people to do something, and you're a military cat, get a group of people to do something at one time. You know the power of people being on one accord. When laughter comes together on one accord, or people are all celebrating you at one time, or you can get a group of people to move in any way. I think that power and that acclaim that comes instantly was like, oh, I like this. But also, like Bernie Mac mentioned about seeing his mother cry, and I think Bill Cosby was on, and she's laughing and crying. She's upset, but she's laughing and crying at the same time. And when you realize that comedy is and laughter heals, and you can be any age and make. My daughter does it now. My daughter will, and sometimes I get on my nerves. I was like, "Why are you acting so silly?" And I see myself at her age doing the same thing, and I was like, "Man, she is her timing and did it." And there, so once you realize that laughter can change an atmosphere, it's nothing like once you realize that laughter and comedy makes everything palatable, it's nothing like it.
Man, it's nothing like it, man. And I mean, a smile, a laughter, man, that brings joy to any situation that might be. But I tell you what, Troy, we're going to take a station break,
Yeah, yeah.
but we're going to come back and we're going to pick it up from here. So if you want to be part of this great conversation, all you have to do is just go to your Facebook, whatever you're watching this, YouTube, E360 TV, and ask this great man any question you want to. Make him tell a joke or something. You know, I tell
He
you.
said, make him tell a joke. Smack him. Make him do something. Roll up. Roll up.
We'll be back shortly after the break. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James Cooley. We'll see you shortly.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phrases and stages. These experiences teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to It's Your Life with James Cooley. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get you equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and we got Troy Rawlings here, and I tell you, we getting ready to get into this one. We getting ready to tell some jokes. We getting ready to educate. Hey Troy, we getting ready to do it, man.
What ain't nothing else to do. We gotta go in on a what is it, Wednesday? On a I know y'all catch it. Some of y'all may catch this later, but you know it's still live. Still live wherever you at. Share it.
So yeah, it's live, and you can always catch it later, just like you said that. But I tell you what, before we even start this off, I want to do this.
I don't really need to see another slave movie. I'm sorry. I know they're talking Oscars. I know they're talking this. I just don't want. You feel me? I'm good. I'm good. I was born in the 70s, so I was born in 75. I'm a young buck. But I remember when Bruce was around. That pretty much was good enough straight through. I didn't need Django, Mango, Mambo. I don't need none of that. And 12 Years a Slave. I said, people's talking about how great a movie it is. I just don't. I might see it on a Sunday if it come on TV. I don't know, but I don't need to see any more slave movies. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to feel, because it makes me feel all slavery when I come out. Huh? I don't need to. And then I'm watching, how many old folks in here? Black exploitation films, Blackula. How many people remember Blackula? That was scary. That was, for one, you got all these people in the hood, jive, turkey, sucker. I am. You know, come on, sucker. No, I didn't mean like that, brother. Come on. A bunch of that throughout the whole. Come on, put some more questions in. A bunch of that throughout the whole. So, long story short, they have Bounce TV. How many people seen Bounce TV? Anything that sound like music or dribbling the basketball. It's usually a black station. So when Bounce TV, I'm looking at Bounce TV, and Blackula's on. I'm like, oh, snap, Blackula. And I'm sitting there watching, and when I was a kid, it was just scary. You know, you just watching and see, and I wasn't paying attention. But Blackula was macking up on this lady named Tina, and he liked her because she looked like his old wife that he lost. And he was like, what is it? Mama Mume, Mama, some name. I was like, he got an African name. I was like, all right, Blackula came from Africa. From Africa. So he's telling her how he got here, and he was like, yeah, I was over there and they tricked me and enslaved me. I'm like, what? I'm looking at Blackula talking to the screen like, what, Blackula? They enslaved me and they sold me to a man named Count Dracula. I was like, Blackula was Dracula's slave? I was like, oh, Lord. Ain't it my horror movie? Could you imagine? It's bad enough being a slave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get my freedom. I ain't gonna die no slave. I'm gonna get my freedom. And he's sitting there like, come here for a second. Like, yes, sir. He's like, oh. Now you will live forever. As a slave?
Man, Blackula was Dracula's slave. Man.
His name was Mama Waldy, and I remember as a kid I was afraid of that movie. My mom took us to see it, and like I'm just like you like.
I didn't. I remember the movie. It was scary because he was walking around the hood. Guys was walking around with leather and brims on. He was like, man, who you supposed to be in that cape? Wait a second, brother. Wait a minute. Get off me, man.
Remember he called that cab driver called him boy, and then she started apologizing when he turned around and got ready to bite her.
Yeah, I was like, no, I didn't mean to. But when I saw that scene where he's with the woman and he tells that story, as an adult and a kid, I didn't even notice that scene because it was just scary. Right? Going around the hood, just biting people. But that's why Vampire in Brooklyn was so funny. But when I heard that story, just like I looked and just even hearing it now, I'm sitting there looking like, when I was looking, I was like, who wrote this to the point where they said, when we're going to go back, yeah, I was in Africa, but I got caught up. And when they sold me into slavery, even Dracula had messed up my whole horror movie. I love Bela Lugosi and all that destroyed. When I saw that, I was like, what? Now you will live forever. You gonna live forever too? Yeah. You ain't gonna die either. So anytime you roll up on me, I'm your slave.
Man, tell our viewers about your radio career and what lessons have you learned? I'm talking about in going forward with your radio career, comedy career, and a lot of things that you're doing in life. How did that come to fruition? Because all of this, especially if you're an artist, everything you're doing comes in to play some type of role in making sure that you develop into the best potential, the best artist that you can be. Talk to our audience a little bit about.
That's right. I want to do radio. I was one of those kids. I got a chance recently to interview one of the pole marks. Kathy Hughes owning Radio One and starting Radio One and TV One and Urban One. Her and her son Alfred, amazing folks and amazing. I got to interview her for Sheen magazine recently and do the cover story with that. And sitting down to talk to her for like 3 hours. It was just great. It made it really great when she recognized and told me that she knew who my mentor was with Lee Michaels starting me in radio. And also he helped her realize that at the time, the gospel market and stuff was in radio was monetizable. But I sitting next to the radio and I was one of those kids to record stuff. But I remember being in elementary school and having to do a project and hosting a show, where a lot of kids and a lot of people and adults don't know, everything was on radio. Bob Hope was a radio star before he ever became a movie star and a TV star. So all the shows that we would we would watch now, you had to listen to. Radio is, people say podcast is the new thing. Podcast is just recorded radio. Radio ain't going nowhere ever. And so I would listen to radio, and I would always love the jocks. But what I really liked, especially with Tom Joyner, like he had It's Your World and all this stuff. So you could be funny, interview people, play music, and do sketches all in radio. So I was like, in high school, I was like, yeah, I want to go on the radio. I started cutting hair just as a hobby to make money. And when I was about to graduate, I realized I was going to be on my own. So it was like, well, I can make money cutting hair, but I really want to go into broadcasting. And I was blessed 7 years later, after I graduated, to have an opportunity, because I was doing some stuff with the youth in Baltimore and doing Radical Praise and all this stuff. It opened the door for me to go into radio, unconventional. Like a lot of my travel was just because I was presenting myself and doing my talent, and it opened the door. My gifts were making room, so those things continuously happen. But I was a radio brat, recording, sitting next to the radio, talking to a girl on the phone, like, yeah, girl, I got a house phone so I can play it out. Yeah, girl, you're coming up to the radio. It's like, yeah, playing Luther, and yeah, play the radio and talking to her on the phone and singing to the music, you background singing, say it. You doing all that, record your voice, and like the voicemail. Oh, y'all remember you leaving the voicemail? It was like you playing the music. All of a sudden, you got ready or not. Yeah, you've reached Troy. Leave your name, number, time to call. Well, I'll get back to you as soon as and all that, recording your voice. And I had a project, I think it was in 5th grade. I had a project where they said, you can do something. So I played like a radio host. I recorded some music. I think I interviewed my grandfather. And I act like I was an old guy and did all this stuff and turned in this cassette tape for the project. And the teacher was sitting there listening to the project. And she was listening and looking at me and listening to it and said, you did this? I was like, yeah. She was like, I think she said something like, can I play this for some of the other teachers? I don't know where that cassette tape is, but I think she was like, how did he edit all the stuff up? But we was recording and playing to get the mix, the master mix. What's funny during a commercial break? If y'all listen to J.C. Cooley's theme song, if it don't sound like Luke Skywalker produced that song, don't stop, Pop, let me see you. JC. I was like, this dude came up. I don't know where you're from, but that was the Miami 2 Live Crew type. Oh, get it.
We had a great person to record that. So, but
I was like, that would, if you got I have not heard to date a show theme song that's more hype than your theme song. You got we about to top. I was like, I heard this somewhere before.
You know what? But you know what, Troy, outside, radio, your radio career, you and your fellow book author Yonder, you turned a book tour into an interactive sex, love, and relationship forum called Talk Show, and the Taboo Talk Tour became a hit. Can you tell us about this tour? And how'd you get the name of the relationship guru of comedy? Let's start with the tour.
Yeah, my best friend. I'm using your government. So when you see this later, Rodney Yonder Harrison, Yonder, we met. I was doing some publicist work. You like any other entrepreneur, you have to find your streams. When I started doing comedy professionally, I was still a barber. I owned a barbershop. So I was getting into doing publicist work. I started a marketing promotion company in 98. I got into the social media thing. I had my own email newsletter, and he caught it, because before the spam filters, everybody was sharing everything on email. You send an email newsletter, oh, you got to check this out. So he was thinking about writing a book. I was working with an author by the name of Dee Blackman. Shout out to Dee Blackman, another amazing author and writer. She writes for TV and stuff now. But we connected and became cool. Then we lost touch. And when he got his book, we found touch again. And I just brought him into the Baltimore market. He's from DC, but lived in La Plata, Maryland. And when we got together, you know, he's doing straight erotic fiction like Zane. Anybody on here that knows Zane was, but you know, erotic fiction, especially urban erotic fiction, we just do it. It's not this ain't Danielle Steele. This ain't this ain't what's the girl name? This ain't Joan Collins.
Jackie Collins, yeah.
This ain't Jackie Collins.
Mhm.
This ain't, you know, his pulled his sword from his sheath and his manliness was throbbing against my inner love child, the pulsating. urban erotic fiction is we on the floor and stuff getting thrown around. He was tearing it up. You know, but, so anybody that read it. So when we started doing the book signings, it was me and him. You know, he had blazer on, some jeans on. We, you know how it is. Doc, you gotta look the part. And I believed in standing up. I still believe in standing up. You're doing a book sign or anything like that. We're talking to people, and this lady comes by and she gets one of the books. It's 6 to 8. She gets one of the books, and she's like, "Yeah, okay, who's running your book?" Now this is one of my books, so but I'll talk about this later. But she was like, "Oh, okay, you guys, and I'll make it appropriate for TV audience." She said, "Look, my guy came home the other night from work, and I tried to go down and take care of him. He stopped me. Is he cheating on me?" And I was like, I ain't never heard no guy stopping a woman from doing that. Were you always jumping on them at the front door? Is this something you normally do, or did you shock him? I'm a comedian, so I don't mind embarrassing myself. And we talking, and this at the beginning. So she already bought the book. So she's talking, laughing. And I was like, you know, he probably still at work too. She was like, she looked at me like the RCA dog. I said, guys take longer to deprogram. Like, if something's going on, he brings that in the door with him. And the first, you know, they say a lot of times that the arguments usually start somewhere between the doorway, the kitchen, and that's where a lot of arguments happen. Because if you hit a guy with questions as soon as he walks in the door and don't find out how his day was like, "How was your day, baby?" And you, he don't even get the words out right. He sound like Joe Biden when he going to say, "You know what's going on in the world today is fire fleet." Like, what did he say? Joe said he's having a hard day. He said, "Give me a minute." That's what he said. All the men understood what he said. He was like, "Yeah, that's how it is right now." So we talked to her, and I stepped back, and she's staying there for the 2 hours of the book signing. We're in the middle of Mondawmin Mall. Mondawmin Mall in Baltimore is one of the first indoor malls in the nation. It's also one of the biggest mall. It was the biggest cash cow of any mall in the nation because it was in the middle of the city, and most of the stuff was cash. It wasn't credit. So Mondawmin Mall was a well-known mall. It's one of the Rouse Company thing. So we walking and people going and shopping as babies and strollers, and we talking uncut. We talking adult. I'm like, man, if women are talking like this with each other and with us openly in the middle of a mall, what would they say in a closed setting? And I was like, Yonda, I said, how much you need to make off the book? $5, $10. His first book was only 69 pages. A woman that could read that in front. And that's what was happening. She was like reading and looking at it. You know, women can multitask. Their great brain matter and the way they're scientific. Women can look at you and read something and type something and be like, yeah, we're gonna find out. And you're like, did you get everything I said? I heard everything you said. We can't do that. We were like, you know. So
I tell you, hey, Troy, hold that thought. We got to take a break. Hold that thought. I mean, we want to pick it up when we come back. You know, so I tell you, I hope that you all are having just as much fun as I am. This man is funny, and we're gonna pick it up. So it's Show Life. I'm Dr. James Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I don't know what happened. The commercials took a hit, or the station took a hit. Something took a hit, but we'll get back to that commercial later. But I want to pick it up with Troy right away. Hey, Troy, you gotta finish that story. So let's pick
Okay,
it
I
up.
was talking about how the Taboo Talk tour started. We have the book signed, and lady comes up, asks about something. She was a wonderful sexual favor she was trying to give her husband. As soon as he came from work, he stopped her. Is he cheating on me? We start talking about it. And as I'm talking to her, she was like, oh, and I could tell she was like, I never thought of it like that. And one thing I never did, and this goes back to how my mom introduced and talked to me about sex and love when I was a kid, that I don't really have a filter, but I don't have a judgment part either. And I talk to people where they are. If I'm talking to someone and they're, Christian, and if I'm cussing or using foul language, it may offend them, then I don't use that kind of language. I talk to people where they are. But if I'm talking to somebody from around the way and I'm gonna let them, we on the same page, we rolling with it. So this woman, because she felt comfortable talking about what she did, I realized she stayed there. She talked more to us, and she was very interactive with us. And then she was interactive with other women. Y'all should get this book, girl. So all of a sudden she becomes a cheerleader with us to sell the book, because I talked to them. He said this, and what you think? And they step into the side, having different conversations. All those things are coming together. So one of the things that I noticed, I stepped back and talked to Yonder. I say, hey, how much you need to make out the book? Just make this. I'm gonna add a little bit more. We're gonna have some drinks. We're gonna get some food, and we're gonna put it in a closed setting. And an amazing author, Carl Weber, who's an amazing writer. He has shows on like BET and stuff now. Carl Weber opened a bookstore in Baltimore. I think one of his first bookstores in Baltimore is called Urban Knowledge. And so we did the first one with about 12 people, first Taboo Talk in Urban Knowledge bookstore. It might have been 2004. I think it was like 2004. And because we're going into 19 years of doing the tour. So we started with 12 people in back of a bookstore. And then about 12 months, we had like 1,000 people in the ballroom. And I was like, oh. And we were doing it the span of time that you would do a party or event, 4 hours. So what a lot of people don't know, for the past 20 years, they see me get up and like, oh, you're so great at hosting and stuff like that. Not only was I hosting and stuff in school and at events and things like that. Sorry about the dogs. Hosting and stuff at school and events and all that stuff. One of the big things that I had a chance to do was stand in front of people for 4 hours and engage and interact and do improv and answer questions, get them to throw. And when I started getting them to throw questions in the bucket, it became something that we could. And the biggest thing is that no matter what race, religion, creed, everybody has sex, love, and relationships in common. We do it the same way. Some different cultural things, but you can talk to any crowd about it. It hits everybody. It hits home with everybody.
Wow. Tell us why and when did you move to LA?
I moved to LA in 2008, and I started producing live shows as a young kid. I started producing live shows and choreography and putting stuff together with music and hip hop and all that stuff when I was a teenager in high school. So by the time I was 19, I wanted to move, but God had other plans. My mom was dying from drug addiction. My brother lived in Louisiana. We got my mom out of Baltimore down to Louisiana. And that kind of took my life another turn. It was like, all right, God, what do you got planned for me? So by the time I was moving to California, I wasn't 19 or 22. I was 32. And I had done some things, but I wanted to see if what I had learned transcended where I was. Like, it felt like in Baltimore, I was hitting a glass ceiling. And I felt like I got enough, but I wanted to see how my live show production skills translated into TV and film. And I had this great thing that I believe with the Taboo Talk Show and Troy Rawlings Live at Taboo Talk. With the concept we had, I thought it was the most brilliant thing because I saw something that I had never seen before. When you get people of all walks of life, from the person who may, from the person who may work at McDonald's, young person to female doctors and lawyers and stuff, coming and sitting down together and talking about the same things. I thought this was amazing. I thought I want to see how this translates onto TV. And now, years later, I've been here in Los Angeles now for 14 years. And I did my first TV pilot, the Troy Rawlings Show. I got a chance to produce that back in 2011. Shout out to one of my mentors and friends, Wanda Draper. She was the program director for WBAL, the NBC affiliate in Baltimore. And she kind of guided me in that process. To have somebody like that guide you in the process. She came to one of my comedy shows at the Comedy Factory in Baltimore. She was like, "Oh, I love it." And raw and cut. She was like, "Oh, I love it. Troy, how can I get this stuff? I want to help you. How we put this on TV?" I was like, "You can't put my show on TV." She was like, "Well, give me a 30-minute show like Ellen." I said, "I can give you a 30-minute show that I would do." And then I went back and forth with her. "Well, okay, out of this list of words, what can I say?" And she was like, "None of them." It was like 50 words on there. She was like, "None of them." But she knew something I didn't know. She also knew where she wanted to place it already. Mm-hmm. So as I produced this show and gave it to her, she was like, "Great." Closed caption. Shout out to Denise Bowden, my executive producer. I met her in Brentwood in California. She's a lawyer and she was producing content. And I was talking trash. "Yeah, I can produce a TV pilot for $3,500. She was like, "If you can produce a TV pilot for $3,500, I'll pay for it." Of course, it costs like $8,000. But she, I tell people all the time, just move forward in what you're believing to do. Don't let money stop you. Don't let position stop you. Now you have more open doors than anything. This social media thing has always and continues to amaze me, man. Ever since I got involved in 98 and started doing an email, when I go somewhere and take a bunch of my business cards and come back with 200 other people's business cards and can put in an email and email everybody, back in like late 90s, early 2000s, it was like 100% open ratio on emails. That was amazing to me. You mean I don't have to call 100 people? I can email them and everybody gets the message? That was amazing to me. So this social media thing continues to amaze me. I haven't used it to the next level, and with the success that people are getting from it and stuff like that, I'm excited to continue to move it forward, move the pendulum forward as I'm crafting how this thing comes together.
Wow, social media is absolutely fantastic the way it is today, and maybe wasn't able to do it on television back then, but now you can do it on almost anything.
Yeah.
Except a couple of stations that I'm on.
But it feels good. What's so funny is a lot of the stuff that you can get away with on social. I realized that for TikTok, I was just doing some Q&A from actual questions I had a basket. I pull them and was answering them on TikTok, and they blocked one of my videos. I got so mad. I was like, I just watched the girl drop it like it was sizzling hot, pick it back up, throw it in the screen, talk about it. And we see people getting beat up, murdered, all that stuff. I mentioned a question about sex, love, relationships, and it gets censored. And I started realizing we have to be in control of our content still, because if it's educational or if it's helping people, it's not popular all the time. But
hold that thought, because we're gonna take our last break. I got to get these couple of commercials in, but we're gonna come back and pick it up. And I tell you, if you want to be part of this, ask this man any questions. We'll be back shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, Commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Hello. Hey, I'm James Cooley. I am the founder and CEO of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, Options, Opportunities, Lasting Choice Program. Our primary mission is to help build the foundation of our youth and young adults and communities. And we encourage everyone to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. And the way that you do that is, first of all, you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are here for a purpose. You also have to be able to step out your comfort zone and do things that you probably didn't think that you can do.
Doctor, James, J.C. Cooley, Cooley, show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, man.
Hey, listening to that commercial, Troy, I know what you mean about the 2 Live Crew. I was like, I didn't get it until you said something.
Boy, listen to the James Cooley. Booty. Listen to the James Cooley. Come get that booty.
They didn't say it like that. That is, I mean, he kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I mean,
I know James was in there like, man, I want it. I need that. You like 2 Live Crew. He said, yeah, but cleaner and more motivational.
Oh yeah.
So instead of Cooley, don't get that Cooley. You're gonna be like, why are my numbers so high in Miami?
Well, you know what, Troy, and you've been talking about, you're moving to LA and everything. Can you kind of summarize tell us about your radio morning show? And, we got a lot more questions before the end of the show, but tell us about your morning show.
But hold on. Let me tell you, we only got 7 minutes left in the show, but I want to get to a lot of this stuff. Okay.
Oh, we got time? Okay. But real quick, I'll jump since we have 7 minutes and make sure everybody, I know we're gonna have time to do this, but Troy Rawlings live, if you can't get everything, because I had people hit me saying they just tuned in. This will be on the James Cooley Show YouTube channel.
Yes.
YouTube channel. Hey, everybody needs to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It will be there.
It's your life.
It's your life radio. It's your life radio.
It's your life radio. And I'll make sure anything you guys send me, I'll put it on I'll put it out there, and then I have LA Radio Now, my YouTube channel, and Troy Rawlings. So we'll have it everywhere. I'm blessed out. But the morning show, I wanted to do a morning show, even though when I got to California, I started doing Taboo Talk, Raw Uncut Radio. So sex, love, relationship, uncut, uncensored. Me and Yonder started a radio show in the DC area that was uncut, uncensored on internet radio to go into XM and Sirius. So we wanted to be like, kind of like Howard Stern, Raw and Cut. But then I realized you could do that on internet. So when I got here to California, it was KYHY, the Y. And my man, Domain Wardrick, and comedian and actress Coco Brown were my co-hosts. And we had a ball interviewing different comedians. You can go on, if you go on Troy Rawlings if you put in Taboo, Raw and Cut Radio on YouTube, you'll see snippets from all of them back in the day. And a lot of the stuff we were doing, and then LA Radio Now. So the morning show was just, I kind of idolized Tom Joyner and hey, Yetta. Yeah, we had a great time hosting Sunday. Big shout out to Black Business Women Rock and Dr. Nadlin, who is retiring, and Black Business Women Rock and retiring that portion and doing some amazing things. And she'll be Texas and LA. But thanks so much, Yetta. And Alvin Jones, he's like, he caught that Doo-Doo Brown groove. Don't stop, bro. Get cool it foundation. It was off the chain. When I heard, I was like, this sounds familiar. And I'm from Baltimore, so let me see it. Cool it. So yeah, the morning show was like the culmination of everything. So in 2016 into 2016 until 2018, I started my first brick and mortar in LA Radio Now. And now we're morphing into LA Media Now Studios. And I closed it in 2018, but I was like, okay, I got to make money every day with the station. But to do a station, shout out to my man, Lincoln Stokes, Kathy Hughes, and all that. When you hear the stories about Kathy Hughes sleeping in a station, I slept in the station one night with my daughter trying to get stuff together and programming. And so to do the morning show was just a dream, a 4-hour produced show. You know, I know how to do 4 hours like it's nothing. So, but it taught me everything going through the process of radio. I will always do radio. When you hear people like Steve Harvey and them say they always do radio, it's because you can reach everybody. You can listen to radio while you're working out, working, driving to work. You know, radio and podcasts are where it's at, you know. So doing the morning show was really just a blessing to me. I'll always want to do something. And shout out to bemorenews.com and blackusa.news. They streamed some of my Meet the shows. I started a show in 2019 called Meet the that I never knew would end up being something. That's the thing that helped me get in with Sheen Magazine. That's the thing that helped me get in with interviewing Kathy Hughes, something I started just to get my TV chops up. But 2020 hit and I kept doing it. And I got a chance to interview a lot of different people in the industry and different industries. And I got to bring James Cooley on the new season and all that stuff. But amazing. You know, I always, like I said, radio is such a blessing because you can do it all. You can have your sketches. You can listen to music. I love DJing and playing music, and you can be funny and you can do topical, you know. So I will always, but I love TV. I want to do some stuff on TV, but that radio thing, man, it's gangster.
Yeah, I love radio, man. We been on radio for over 4 years, and it's in national radio. And just had fun. Okay, so we got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to put you on a speed answer the questions real fast. Okay, so what does fatherhood mean to you, real quickly, if you can?
Everything. Fatherhood is the next level of manhood. It is the extension of me. It lets me develop into the man I'm supposed to be.
What is your perspective of life?
My perspective of life, love. One of my mentors that passed away recently, Bishop Carl Bean, he would say, love is for everybody or everyone. You know, it's love. Love is the answer. Love covers a multitude of crazy stuff and sins and downfalls. So love.
Last question. What does love mean to you?
Love is a verb. Like hope and faith, love doesn't work until you put it into action. So love is definitely a verb. Love, hope, and faith are things you have to put into action to see them happen. It's like walking to that door at the mall that opens. If you don't walk towards it right speed, oh, Lord. I've seen people walk into the door and don't open in time. Oh, the door must be broke. You just knew it was going to open. That's what love is. You got to put it in action.
You know what, man? We running out of time. We done ran out of time. Actually, they're going to get me. But I tell you, we got to do part 2 because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't get to. And I would like to do that in a month or so if your schedule permit.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
You know,
I got it. Cool it. I got it.
Man, I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And just like I said, we're going to do this in about a month or so if your schedule permit. I want to leave everybody with a message that always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll be back the same time tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. second, Troy.